Hello, hello, hello. And we are on day number 4 today, halfway through the challenge, and I'm glad that I'm keeping it up. So, how are you all? And if you're watching live, put hashtag live right there. And if you are watching replay, please put hashtag replay so I can understand that, where. Are you there right now? Are you watching me? So I can have my own data analysis after that as well because I love data. So today we are going to talk really important topic, and that's going to be busting myths. And number one myth around math learning, and that has been throughout, generations, and more so since maths has been started, getting commercialized, and when it all started, getting into the fancier terms of seeing maths as a fast subject. The children who do fast math, who do quick mental calculations, are the ones who are good at math. And if you're not doing that, you're not good at math. And if you see 2% of the children throughout, I think 2 to 5% maybe, can do faster calculations. And honestly, those faster calculations are not even required. Yeah, they're not required. Really, they are not required. If you understand your maths properly, if you today, even if you ask me, Rakhi, what is this multiplication, I might not be able to tell because that's not even needed. When people talk about the multiplication tables, and half of the children are dreaded because they can't memorize or rote learn the times table, and they are shunned in the classrooms, at home, with their peers. But that's not even required if you know how to play with the numbers, if you understand the patterns, if you understand certain basic laws, and those laws actually come naturally to you. If you use some sort of visual sense, or some sort of play with things, that just becomes natural part of you. You don't really need to think over. You would be surprised. I One of the professor at IIM Bangalore, in one of the course, he said, your mind is structured, it's given to think, not to memorize or store data. We keep on storing data over data instead of actually using it to think. And thinking is the skill which, I am so much dedicated to learn, to make people learn, to make people understand that thinking is a skill. If we think enough, things just happen. You don't need to rote learn times table. You don't need to rote learn your formula. If you know your process, it's a process. So where is it all coming from? Because I have been, meeting parents. Parents come to me with their, own thing that my child goes to. I don't want to name the classes in this open room as of now. But yeah, if you come to my closed rooms, I really give you the real truths of education system, basically. But over here, if you are watching it live or replay, again, I'm just saying, just put a hashtag live or replay so that I can understand, where, at what time do you watch me and how do you watch me, in what mode. And if you're live, please do interact. That's going to be a nice thing. You can ask me anything, right? So I'll open one forum for asking me anything. So, okay, so coming back to the point, when people tell me, that Rakhi, my child is going to this class for fast mental calculation, or A class, B class, C class, we know all the courses what are available in the market, right? Honestly, when I sit with those children, it's so difficult to teach them instead of the children who have not gone to these classes, because how they condition you is like just doing the calculations fast and just submitting the worksheet. There's no depth in any of them. There's nothing. And honestly, a lot of children, they drift away from these classes after 2 to 3 years, and then parents like, now they don't find it useful. Yeah, because that was not useful at the first place itself. You understand that? And if not, if you don't understand, then please understand that you just in the name of commercialized classes, and because of you're not aware, is that good or is that not good, just don't send your children to the classes randomly just because your friend's child is going or it's in your vicinity, or it's just available. Don't go. You're doing more harm to your child. Then they can start regulating the things on their own. Children are self learners, they are self thinkers. We don't just allow them. One of the parent, and that student is one of my favorite students. She just thinks maths like anything. The way she comes up with the strategies and all, I really love her work. So when she was in second grade, she was with me since she was in prep. So this girl, and at that time I used to have my offline workshops. So this is a very nice story if you would like to listen. And my workshops were so interesting that even if I keep it for 90 minutes, like 1.5 hours, they used to go for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and children were like so passionate about solving their things, talking to their peers, playing around in the thing, so that they don't want their parents to pick them up unless and until their work is over. Now there is no compulsion from my side because I'm like, okay, my time is over, you can go. But no, because I am dedicated for the children and their learning. I used to extend my hours. Sometimes we used to have our pizza parties and extended five hours. And you can imagine children of second, third grade are putting their own 5 hours voluntarily something. It means something to them, right? So after 2.5 hours, her mother came to pick her up, and she saw what she did, and she was a very vigilant mother. And she said, Rakhi, she goes to these classes XYZ, and over there, where other children are finishing 10 worksheets in an hour, my girl finishes 20 worksheets in an hour. You know her capacity. She's so smart. And over here, she's sitting for 2.5 hours and she has done only these 2 worksheets. I was like, okay. You come and you sit and you see her work, what she has done in 2.5 hours. And when she saw, she was like, was she doing this? I was like, yeah, she was doing this. So don't compare those speed math with what we are doing. And this is what children are doing voluntarily on their own because they realize how much potential they have and we are not taking them to their highest potential. And that really saddens me sometimes. That what are we doing? And then that was the last day she asked me that what my daughter is doing in your sessions. That's a power of realization, because we are so settled in mediocrity that we don't even know the highest levels. What highest levels we know is the comparative exams. And honestly, if you have been vigilant, if you have been reading the news, you can see how the placements from IITs are getting so low this year. 30% of them are unemployed. So what are we even doing this for? We just want our children to be happy, well settled, and doing their best potential. But are we really doing enough? So that is, those are the couple of myths where we all fall wrong. Then once, another story for the day, there was a Canadian company who approached me and they were like, Rakhi, in our country, Vedic maths is so popular, among Indian parents. Would you like to design a course for us for Vedic maths? And I was like, okay, I love Vedic maths. I really, really, really appreciate the work, our ancestors have done and so much depth into it. But the way it has been commercialized, 99 seconds mein ye kariye, 10 seconds mein ye kariye. No way. I don't subscribe to that version of Vedic maths. I don't subscribe to the version of Vedic maths which says, times tables are redundant. You don't need to learn them. No, you need to learn them, but you need to learn them so that they create the foundation. They create the basic. So I said, okay, fair enough. So which grade do you think, are you planning for? And they're like, third grade to fifth grade. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, why are you not going to do that? Because if you are doing Vedic maths for third to fifth graders, sixth graders maximum, that's basically you are just making them rote learners. And that's not giving any value to them. So he's asked me that at what age group do you think Vedic maths should be? I think unless and until you don't know your algebra, there's no point of doing Vedic maths. If you can't understand, for example, they might teach you what is 9 times 9 or 99 times 99 or 98, and they have their own formula. Okay, you might learn that, but the point is, once that is gone, can you generalize? Can you play around with that? If you can't play around with those formula or those equations or those, beautiful nuggets what they have given to us, there's no point, because eventually you will forget them. Anyways, that is not applicable in our real lives anywhere. Nobody in exam is asking you what is 99 times 99 or something of that sort. Unless until you learn to play with the numbers, it's a rhythm. For example, let's say as a number 6, it's just a number 6 for somebody, right? But if you sit and see what are the properties of number 6, how does it behave? If you understand those nuggets, maths becomes such a beautiful thing to experiment. And if you can't put that experimentation, that research work, that little depth, little playfulness in your learning, it's not only about maths learning, it's about any learning. And there's no point. There's no point making, those kind of factory-based burgers. There's no organic learning in it. Because, the point over here is, if you see in our food industry as well, organic food is organic, right? And there are very few people who actually understand the value of it. We all are the product of the junk food, right? Because it's marketed well. It's commercially viable. And we are the guinea pigs of that industry. So my real request is, let's not make our children guinea pigs of something which is redundant, just for the commercial viability. So yeah, this was a little intense. I hope you understand when you watch it, because it's important. It's a thoughtful thing, and we all should work towards it. And I'm really, really happy if you're watching my videos. I know, and I would love if you could, send me your messages. You can talk to me personally if you have, counter thoughts. I would love to have that kind of a debate as well, that, and maybe we can come to some common ground. But yeah, this is an important part for us to, break those shackles, break those stereotypes, what have been coming from generations to us in the name of education. Education is something mastery to me, and excellence, not like something, put in a box kind of a thing. So do watch this, imbibe it, because it's one thing which I again and again said, the onus is on us parents. The reason being, because schools they're doing the good job, right? But then they're not doing enough. They are also part of the system, and the whole system needs a revamp, right? And that is where people who are invested in education, they are working their bits and pieces. But the ground reality is, which I hear from all of them, and especially me as well, that parents are the barrier. Because for us to get ourselves to children, we have to cross this barrier of parents. So parents need to understand that a new wave of education which really values your child is really needed. Not the herd mentality, not because everybody is doing, we have to do, not because of unawareness, we are putting ourselves right there. So please understand this and go through it. I'd be happy to see you in tomorrow's live session. Sunday is going to be an interesting one. I'll post that, and hope you all join Sundays as well. And of course, if you are watching the series, I'm really grateful for you. I'm really grateful for the offline discussions I'm having with some of them. So bye for now, signing off, and see you tomorrow, same time, right here. Bye-bye.